This week on the channel I have a classic 80s toy, which is Robie SR. He is a version of the Omnibot, and the Omnibot was a toy robot that was originally manufactured by Tomy in the mid-1980s. That name then came to apply to a successful line of robots manufactured by the company. The initial Omnibot was announced with expectations of restoring popular interest in robots. And remember, this was at a time when it was becoming obvious that robots like R2-D2 were still a long way away. A more advanced version of the Omnibot was called the Omnibot 2000 that did not have a plastic bubble over its head. With the success of the Omnibots, the Omnibot range quickly expanded. After the video game crash of 1983, it had a debilitating effect on basically most of the home electronics industry. The Omnibot faded away. However, it was revived in the early 2000s. There's a version of the Omnibot called the iSobot, S-O-B-O-T, that you can look up on YouTube. This is the Radio Shack version of the Omnibot. It was manufactured by Tomy in Japan for Radio Shack, and we'll kind of go over some things here. It has a remote control. The remote control has 3 buttons. The first button is to pause a tape playing in the tape player. The second button controls the lights, and the third button controls the sound. There was also an optional tray that came with Robie SR that you could put into his claws and have him carry objects around the house. Here are the lights turning on and off. And then sound. And you can see that his mouth lights up when you're doing that. There's on the back panel, there is a port that you can charge the battery while it's in the unit. I had to convert it from a acid-based 6-volt to a lithium ion and put new charging ports on it. You can get the battery. It's called the Mighty Max battery, model number ML4, and it's 6-volt, 4.5 amps. And you can order this at Home Depot. This is a second battery that I have, and this is the charging port cord that I made to plug into the back of the unit so that I can charge the battery now while it's in the system. As we move to the front section, you can see the Radio Shack label. There's also a clock that runs off a single AA battery, and there's different settings. There in the center are switches to turn the unit on and off. In addition, you can run it by remote control. You can run it from a pre-programmed tape, or you can allow it to function as a regular tape deck. And we'll see if we can get a better shot of this. I apologize that the focus function is not really the great, but in there is the demo tape that came with the robot. I have the demo tape in the robot.
Hello. Let me introduce myself. You can call me Robie SR. I am your own personal robot. Yours to command. Would you like your newspaper brought to you? May I bring you something to drink? Or how about if I carry flowers to someone special? You see, I can go forward or backward, or turn left or right. All you have to do is command me, and I will obey. Not only can I move, but just give me the command, and I can speak in a robot-sounding voice. Or my eyes will light as I speak. I would like to show you how I operate in a programmed mode. Please press the pause button on my cassette deck and stop this tape for a moment. Then, move my mode selector to the program position. Finally, press the pause button once more.
Now I have him in the RC mode, and you can see I can control him with the lights. I have an option to talk through the robot using a microphone. I am Robie SR. And you can control him to move forward, backwards, right, or left. You can also get parts on eBay that have been 3D printed. Very often, the shoulder joints, these pieces down here, break, and you can get those. They're available on eBay as a 3D printed item. Or if you're lucky enough to have a 3D printer, you can reprint those. The arms don't move by remote control or mechanically, but they're meant to be positioned and to carry like a drink or to hold an object, like it mentioned, carrying a bouquet of flowers in the left hand, which is the claw. Overall, you can still get parts for them. The mechanics inside, there's a circuit board with motor and servos. Those can sometimes be complex, so if you want to buy one on eBay, you really have to be careful because you want to make sure, one, that it's working and that all functions are working, including the tape deck, the clock. If you don't have the remote control, the unit is pretty much worthless other than for it to sit on a shelf. So that's the other issue. You want to make sure that you have a remote control that has the antenna and that still works. And the power button has a red LED, so you could ask them to send you pictures of the LED lit up on the remote. That's one way to see if it's working. But it's more or less just a cool Generation X toy, and it kind of fits in, I think, with my channel with the computers and the retro game systems. So I thought this week I would just shoot a quick video about Robie and give you a little bit of the history and kind of show you, if you are interested in getting one, what you will need to do. So again, the battery you can get at Home Depot. It's called the Mighty Max. That has a charger but you will have to make your own charging cord and connectors fit inside the robot, but that's not hard to do. You can easily get those parts off of Amazon or eBay. But I hope everyone likes this. If you do, please click like. If you're not a subscriber, I do a weekly show with Generation X toys and also game systems like Ataris, computer systems like Commodores, ColecoVision, Intellivision, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and like. Take care, and I will see you next week.